Welcome to Click for IB Biology. Here we're looking at intracellular receptors of the steroidal hormones. There's a blank version of this presentation, a PDF. You can download that from the description below the video, and you can annotate that with your own notes. And down there you'll also find a quiz. There's 10 questions with answers, and you can use that to consolidate your understanding of this part of the course. So let's take a look at these intracellular receptors. What we're going to do here is just quickly run through the endocrine gland and the target tissue of each of the steroidal hormones that we want to consider as we're looking at this idea of steroids, steroidal hormones being the ligands in signal transduction. And so the first one is testosterone. Of course, if one looks at the section of the syllabus associated with reproduction, these details are referenced there as well, and so we can link this to our learning as well. Within the testes, there are the so-called Leydig cells of the testes, and these will produce testosterone, which they then put into the bloodstream, as indeed we have with any hormone. And the target for the testosterone in close proximity are the Sertoli cells, which will bring about spermatogenesis, the maturing of sperm cells. At a more distant location, we have muscle, bone, and hair is also under the influence of testosterone. And so once more, this demonstrates the way in which these distance hormones have multiple target tissues with multiple transductions, that is to say, with multiple responses from the target tissues. Let's take a look at the other two that we want to consider. Estradiol. Sometimes we use the word estrogen, but estradiol is produced in the follicular cells of the ovary, not from the egg cell, but from the follicular cells of the ovary. This then goes into the bloodstream, and there are multiple target tissues for this as well, including, of course, the endometrium. As the endometrium develops during the first phase, the first half of the menstrual cycle, the lining of the endometrium increases, so one can link this part of the course out to that part of the reproduction part of the course. But also there are secondary effects which are associated with things like bone. So we know that estrogen is responsible for the extraction of calcium from the bloodstream into the formation of bone, and there are links there to diseases such as osteoporosis, but that's for a different part of the syllabus. Progesterone, the second hormone that we want to look at from here, is produced in the corpus luteum. So now we're into the corpus luteum is the structure after following ovulation. The follicular cells up here form a structure called the corpus luteum. So this is in the second half of the menstrual cycle in the ovary. The corpus luteum produces progesterone, and once more the target is the endometrium. So we're no longer building the endometrium, we're maintaining the lining of the endometrium. But also there are secondary effects, multiple effects, where progesterone actually will bring about the inhibition of hormones such as FSH, inhibiting any more follicles from developing, since we already have an egg released at ovulation. So these are the three steroidal hormones we're considering here. And the thing that they all have in common is that they are all non-polar. And they're all derived from cholesterol. They're modified from cholesterol in different metabolic pathways, but they are non-polar. And this means that their mechanism of interacting with the cell is slightly different to what we've seen before. So here we have our steroidal ligand, which could be estrogen, estradiol, progesterone, or testosterone, and it comes to the cell membrane. And you can see that my arrow is indicating that the steroid is going straight through the cell membrane. And you'll recall this as a feature of cell membranes from our study of cell membrane structure and transport, that these large non-polar steroidal molecules can traverse the membrane without any resistance from the membrane. And there they will encounter within the cytoplasm a receptor molecule. So testosterone is AR is the androgen receptor, there's the estrogen receptor and the progesterone receptor. And when in combination, this combination then moves from the cytoplasm into the nucleus, where it interacts with promoter regions of genes and brings about the expression of genes, the production of messenger RNA, and then we would then go into the details of the cascading effect of the particular effect of estrogen, testosterone, and progesterone within the cell itself. So this is a different mechanism, still operating at something of a distance from their target tissues, but traversing the membrane to an internal receptor. So the ligand affects an internal receptor rather than the glycoprotein type cell membrane receptor that we've previously looked at. So there's a difference. One to perhaps build a table of compare and contrast those two styles of interaction with receptors. We're going to take a look now at signal transduction and feedback loops, positive and negative feedback loops. That's the link to the video there. Chance to subscribe to the channel, please. That would be lovely. And there's the playlist so that you can see all the videos in this particular playlist for higher level chemical signals.